Yo, this is Humbly Grown. Welcome to weeks 1 through 9 of some of my Gelato and some of my Nightmoves. We got hydro and we got some soil. Moving into week 1, I try to get them as healthy as I possibly could. We got some of the Nightmoves in the back, and for the most part, the rest in the side tent, we got some Gelato, and these are just leftover clones. So we're going to see what they do, and I'm not going to train them at all. Now, moving straight into week 2, I'm going to expect a lot of stretching. At this point, I'm going to feed them with a lot of calcium magnesium, just to kind of get them prepped for when they're done stretching. Also, in general, these plants, these ladies, they really like calcium, and they really like magnesium. And that's about all they really need. It's most important to get them evenly trained so you have an even canopy as they stretch. As you can see here, we're getting about a 6-inch gain on our stretching. Now moving into the end of week 2, beginning of week 3, I'm going to defoliate with all these big families because they're going to take up all the energy. And I always check them to see if there's any pests. But we look really healthy right now. As you can see, these ladies are vegging out really hard. I don't like to take too much away. I take them small amounts at a time. As you can see, we're starting to see some of the the feminism coming out. We have some females here. I already knew they were because they were clones. And you know what to look for. Going into the side tent over here, it looks like we're getting some good stretching into week 2. These ladies are very happy. I was honestly pretty surprised in how much they stretched up on this side room. Normally this is my veg room, but I did what I could. Now you can see in the end of the week 3, the beginning of week 3, we're already starting to see some bud sites pop up, especially in the flower room. I was really impressed. This is the side room though. As you can see, those bud sites are populating themselves really well. Very aggressive and vigorous growth. Now moving into week 3, at this point they're as stretched as they're gonna be. Because at the beginning of week 3, I was just blowing my mind on how many bud sites we were seeing. I mean, look at that, they're stacking really tight. At this point, I started to really worry how much I'd have to start taking out of these plants. And in the side room with these ladies, they're also doing amazing. Mind you, on this side challenge right here, I'm not doing much of a way of taking care of the defoliation. I'm just letting them do their thing. And I mean, look at them. Beautiful. We're seeing a lot of stretching in this side room. Now moving into the end of week 3, the week 4. These ladies in this room right here are just absolutely showing how strong they are. I was really impressed with the vigorous growth on these bud sites. Especially in the small room here. These ladies are saying they're healthy and they're letting me know. It's really important to have them really healthy if you want clean bud, especially like heavy, dense buds. You want to make sure they're very healthy. You want to make sure their leaves are perking up when we don't have any signs of discoloration. bud sites are starting to pack up really tight on the side rim. I was noticing the difference there. And then in the main flower room at the end of week 3 and the beginning of week 4, I'm starting to see even more growth in the lower canopy. At this point, I was like, I need to defoliate some more on that lower canopy so we have even more growth up top. So I went ahead and took some clones in the process. This is how I do it. I do a 90 degree, or like about a flush, non-90 degree angle, sharp angle. I put some of the root stimulant, which in this case I'm using some of the Clonex, and I get a perlite soaked in some pH balanced water, and I stick it right in a humidity dome. And as you can see right here, it's really important to give yourself some lower canopy airflow, that way you don't get nug rot. And after we defoliated going into the next week, honestly, I don't think this is next week. There's a couple of days later. You could see that now we're having some really intense bud development up top. These ladies were just eating that sunlight up. And then in the small room, same thing. I honestly, I was really impressed. I only took a little bit of the fan leaves that were kind of touching the other ones, but it was growing intensely at this point. And then going into the end of week 4 into the beginning of week 5, these ladies are just blowing and bursting an explosion with their nugs. I was really impressed with the canopy here. We had a lot of even canopy. You could see the difference in phenos, how much taller they got versus the clones of my runs, or Gelato. The Nightmoves is, I believe, Obama runs and Midnight runs. Or no, Scotty Too Hottie and Obama runs, sorry. And at this point, this is the beginning of week 7. I was starting to see some coloration. These ladies were starting to pack on some serious weight. You could see kind of the nugs are starting to fall over from the weight, even with the double trellis. I mean, these ladies were just falling over at this point. The beginning too. You'll see what I mean later. And I'm starting to see some heavy trichome growth. And mind you, this is like only, I think, like week 6 or week 7. I was already starting to see some intense trichome growth. But it's really important to be patient here. You don't want to rush. I know they look like they're finished, but it's better to be a little bit more patient with these nugs, because these ladies will go longer than you really think they will, even with some of the coloration popping out right now. And it may look like it's a little bit of imbalance with my feed, but honestly, these were naturally coloring on their own. Like, I checked the soil pH and everything. I wasn't getting any burn. These ladies were just doing their phenotypes. And as you can see, I'm starting to see some intense trichome growth. And I'm moving in, this is week 7, I believe. Into week 7, I was starting to be impressed. I was starting to see some coloration in the hairs, a little bit of red here and there. But these ladies are just telling me they're going to be potent. You can see right there, a little bit of purple on the underbelly of that leaf. Moving into week 8, we're starting to see some more growth here, and we're starting to see some red hairs. These trichomes are starting to work their way up the leaves. That's again why it's important to really wait and be patient with these ladies. They may look like they're smokable right now, but trust, give them that extra few weeks. Now, shout out to Professor Bugsby. This is something important I learned. I actually will start to feed really aggressive at this point with these final 2 stages. As long as those leaves are showing signs of being healthy and no signs of overfeeding or overwatering, start packing them full of newts. They're going to thank you. And you start seeing that. I'm starting to see these buds start to explode out. These hairs are still growing up. still have some white hairs, so I was just feeding her as much as I could. At this point, it was week 8. We're starting to see the smaller room starting to fold over on itself. I mean, these ladies could not support the weight. I normally do trellising, but again, these were just the leftovers, so I just let them do what they're gonna do. It's kind of like a side experiment, if you will. See some crazy stacking. This is what we call mainlining, where you don't top them and you just let them grow. And I understand now why people do it. I mean, look at it. We're getting some crazy stacking and some crazy growth. But on the trade-off, we have weak stems and we have the main cola falling over if it gets too packed full of weight. Now, in the end of week 8 and the beginning of week 9 right here, you know, I was just impressed. We had intense stacking in that main room. At this point, I call it like exploding at horns when they do that like final push on that weight. Same thing in here. You could start to see the nugs starting to do that final push. They're starting to weigh over on themselves. The trichome growth is intense. We're starting to see some more reds popping out. And at this point, the trichomes are going to start becoming less clear and more cloudy. You can really see that with the old tail of the white widow. You know, so you start seeing that white trichome develop. You can really see it here in the main tent. I mean, these ladies were just falling over each other. There's nothing I could do. Now we're starting to move into the final stages of the grow. This is harvest day. Took a look. I knew it was done. I know it looks like they had a little bit left on them, but I'm going to be honest. They were starting to suffocate each other. The nugs are falling over. And I had 2 trellises up. I had 2 layers of trellis. These ladies were so packed full of trichomes. I thought it was going to be worth just to I trim the top layer and cut the top layer out and let that mature. Because they're still going to be alive when you chop them down. So I chopped them about at this stage and then let them finish up while they're drying for that last like 2 days. And I mean, these were full of colors. You could tell the different phenotypes. Even with clones, you get a little bit of different phenotypes. And at this point, on this side room, I gave up. I didn't want to open this thing anymore. I mean, this is the end of week 9. I let them go like I think 1 more week. This was close to harvest. I'm thinking, and you know what? I'm not flushing either. Again, going up Professor Bugby. If you're flushing, that means you've overfed already. So I try not to do that, and I just feed them all the way through, and reduce my feedings the closer it gets to that harvest. So that way I know that there's no more built up salts in the medium. And this is harvest day. I mean, these ladies were done. They were falling over. We're starting to see a lot of reds. I kind of shoot for more THC rather than CBD, so I do a little bit early harvest. But I do get a little bit of that CBD content mixed in because I don't want to have too intense. And as you can see here, I mean, the colors are just absolutely amazing. Deep purples, deep reds, beautiful yellows, vibrant purples. And you know, the trichomes were to die for. And honestly, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to do more of these. This is a passion project of mine. Just enjoy these money shots. And I appreciate if you made it to the end of this video. Yeah, enjoy these close-ups of all these beautiful ladies. Later, farmer fam. Like, comment, and subscribe to Humbly Grown. And peace.